On this episode of Get Judged by Byron Browne. The divorce has been going on already for 2 years.
I'm just asking for my fair equity of the house that we own together, which he is living in with his family, collecting rent from a tenant.
The owners decided they can just walk on the property and start taking pictures.
Why are they coming on your property? I'm Byron Browne, the anti-lawyer lawyer. I'm a husband and a father. I fight for the little guy. And I'm a no-nonsense lawyer with a reputation for never losing in court. I'll judge your situation, and I'll tell you straight out if you got a case. It may not be the answer you want, but it will be the judgment you need. Time to get judged by me, Big B. Hey, this is Get Judged by Byron Browne. I'm Byron Browne, and with me as always is Donia the Duchess taking your calls. We got another great show lined up for you, so let's get into it.
All right, Byron, the big D, not Tanya, divorce, okay? This is something that a lot of couples end up having to go through sometimes, unfortunately, and this is our next caller's question. So, Camille, you are on with Byron Browne, our anti-lawyer lawyer. What's your question?
Good morning. My question is, I've been going through a divorce for the past 2 years. I have gotten nowhere with it. Basically, I'm just asking for my fair equity of the house that we own together, which he is living in with his family, collecting rent from a tenant, and I am living in an apartment paying rent. He's still under my medical coverage. He still claims the house on his taxes. The house has been appraised twice, once by him himself and once court ordered. Both times, my future ex-husband and his attorney were not happy with the appraisal because each time it comes in higher. So I went to court again in April. They requested another appraisal. How many times do I have to go through this?
So you said that the divorce has been going on already for 2 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That 2 years, it's from the date that you or he filed for divorce?
I filed for divorce, yes.
Okay. And then did you voluntarily move out of the house? Or was that part of an agreement with the court?
I voluntarily moved out of the house, yes.
Okay. Sorry, you said that people are renting from him as well?
Yes, there's the tenant upstairs. It's a 2-family home.
Okay. So there's the renters are upstairs and then your soon-to-be ex-husband lives on the main floor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Has there been anything split yet? Any money exchanged or any property exchanged?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
What did the judge say is the reasoning she allowed for the other inspection?
She just stated that that he can have it done, but he would have to pay for this next inspection.
Now, did the judge say that that was the last inspection?
She did not say anything. My next court date is until January of 24.
Wow. Now, have you let your lawyer know? I'm assuming you have a lawyer. Is that fair?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And have you asked your lawyer what, in his or her opinion, is causing this to extend?
She really had no idea. She was actually flabbergasted at the last court hearing because this appraisal was basically ordered by the judge.
What state are you in?
I'm in New York.
Okay.
Now, really quickly, is 2 years average for a divorce to take? Like, does it normally take that long?
It honestly, it'll take even longer, especially if there's contested events. Now, in the state of New York, the courts are courts of equity. So the courts, every court is meant to level the playing field for everybody. And so in New York, what they're going to do, the judge is going to do specifically is, it's called equitable distribution. So all the rent that your soon-to-be ex-husband is obtaining because of the renters, the judge is going to split that. And the judge is going to split everything. So the expenses that you're incurring as it relates to renting your new place, and then your husband arguably not having to rent anything and incur those expenses and actually getting revenue or income from that rental property, that's what the judge is going to take into account. But the judge isn't going to extend the proceeding unless she believes there's good reason to. Like I said, the courts are courts of equity. Judges are going to give people as much rope as needed to ensure that they get all of the rights exercised that they want to. And so that's what I think the judge is doing at this point. The fact that your next hearing is out in January,
Yes.
It's not that odd in divorce proceedings because they want to give everybody enough time to do what they do. It wouldn't surprise me if you have a hearing before then that the judge orders it. But unfortunately, the process that you're going through, and I get it, it's frustrating and I'm sorry you're going through it, but it's not abnormal for divorces to take this long. I've heard them take even longer. The timing or the length of a divorce is directly related to how much contention there is arguing between the parties over stuff. And obviously, your soon-to-be ex-husband is dragging you out by, in his mind, I'm hoping he gets an estimate that's lower that helps him retain maybe more equity in the home. And your lawyer's job is to make sure that that estimate is high. Has your lawyer got an estimate on your behalf?
No, I haven't done an appraisal on my own. I just did it with the court.
Okay. You might want to do one on your own too. I know that there'll be a cost to that, but you want to talk to your lawyer about that. And you just want to make sure that your lawyer knows that you want to move this forward as quickly as possible. And then it's going to be up to you whether you want to maybe not get as much as you possibly could out of the court's equitable distribution, or if you want to get out a little faster. You could probably get out faster, but you might have to concede things that you maybe don't want to concede. But unfortunately, the process you're going through, it's painful, it's long, but it's not abnormal the position you're in. Thanks for the call, Camille.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have
You're
a great
welcome.
day, and thanks
Good
for
luck.
listening to me.
And here's my closing statement. See you in court.
All right, so I'm always impressed by your judgments, first of all. So really great job, Byron. I also feel like I learned a lot. I mean, hopefully divorce is never on the table. Joey, I love you so much. But I didn't know it takes that long.
It takes a really long time. I mean, this is the one misconception a lot of people have about the courts is that they're efficient and they're speedy. It's not true. I can't tell you how many people that have been eager to jump into a lawsuit. We file a lawsuit and they're like, why is it taking so long? So that's not an abnormal complaint. What Camille is going through, a lot of people go through in lawsuits. Unfortunately, it is what it is. The courts want to give people enough time to exercise their rights, because what can happen is if that judge makes a ruling too early, then someone may appeal it. And then when they go to the appeals court, it's even going to take longer. I think they should simplify divorces, though. Just add up everything and divide by 2.
I know. I feel the same way. I mean, it's so easy to get married. You can walk to the courthouse right now and just get married. But to get divorced, it's like, oh.
Well, this is the one thing, too, right? And I always tell everybody, it's their case. It's very subjective. It's highly emotional. And divorces are the hottest in that regard.
Well, we love our spouses.
Love you, Naomi.
Love you, Joey.
Welcome back. What do we got, Danya?
All right, it looks like this caller is dealing with some big time privacy issues. Okay, Mark, you're on with our attorney, Byron Browne. What's your question?
Hi, Byron. Thank you for being on or for having me on the show. My question is, if you own your own house or home and it's presented on property like a community, I have 309 homes here in this community, but the owners decided they can just walk on the property and start taking pictures around the house because they're doing this 4-point inspection, which I feel is illegal. Now, I'm retired and have a handyman job in the park, so I'm with a lot of people. There are 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds that are widowed and alone. And I'll tell you what, when I go work for them, they got scared. They kind of freaked out because there's a guy walking around between the houses, and it's the manager. And I've approached him, and he just walks away.
When you say a 4-point inspection, what do you mean a 4-point inspection?
What they do is they once a year or twice a year come on your property. They walk right up your driveway or the side of your house, and they check to see what's being violated.
Okay, and this is one time a year, Mark?
It's either once or twice a year, depends on what they want to do.
Mark, did they give you guys any notification they were coming at all? Did they put anything on your door?
No. Here's what ticks me off. They sent an email out saying we're going to start our 4-point inspection. It'll start next month, not July 20th or June 10th. But what they do is next thing you know, the golf cart pulls up, they jump out, and he starts walking around your property. I had asked I went up when I got the notice to the assistant, can I be informed when he's coming? And they said no.
What are they looking for in these 4-point inspections, Mark? I need to know exactly what you mean by a 4-point inspection. Why are they coming on your property? There's some point for them coming on your property. So what's that point that they're doing?
The point is there are rules in the park. You can't have weeds. You can't have this. You got to have your house painted. It's got to be clean. You got to get it power washed. These items are common sense items, but
how long are they on your property? When you see them come onto your property, how long are they on there? And what are they looking at? Like, are they pointing a camera in the window? How are they invading your privacy other than just walking on your property, Mark?
yes, that's the scary part. They walk on the property. He has a camera in his hand. He's walking around. He doesn't even have a notebook in his hand. He's just taking pictures. And what he's doing is he's taking pictures of things that he feels are violated. And there's now things that they're saying you have to get rid of that are not even on the rules and regulations.
Okay, but again, I'm sorry. I get it that they're coming on your property. You signed a lease, though, and I'm assuming the lease on the property that your house is on allows them the right to come on your property and do this inspection, correct?
Nope. On the lease, it just says that you must maintain your property at a clean environment, no weeds, no this, no that. But
so there's no park rules or policies or homeowners association rules. There's nothing like that.
Now, our HOA is our HOA. They are part of this, but they're not part of the rules and regulations. They're trying to help us as an HOA to bring all this in, and hopefully we could talk about this. They haven't had the meeting yet.
And I think that's your best bet, Mark. I think it's best bet to go to the HOA, just listen through those meetings. And if you still feel like your privacy is being invaded, the best option for you is not to go to court, but to call the police. And then they'll come out and they'll issue a trespass and or give you an option to file a temporary restraining order.
Good luck, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Mark. And this is my closing statement. No case.
All right, so I feel like Mark is fighting for the little guy. Like when he says people in his community are in their 90s, I'm like, they probably can't do much for themselves. So Mark is the guy that goes around and makes sure that they have groceries. So now he's like trying to make them feel comfortable in their community. But it's interesting what you had to say about it.
Yeah, so this is the thing. And Mark's experiencing what a lot of people do. And I tell this to clients is your case is personal to you, to nobody else. And they get wrapped up in the emotion of it, which I get, but they don't see the bigger picture. It's hard for me to believe that community doesn't have so many sort of rules or regulations that allow them to do what they're doing. And again, he just might not be aware of that. But like I always tell everybody, you kind of have to divorce yourself from the emotion of it, or you can't see it objectively. And I think that's what's happening to Mark. Again, super passionate guy. You can tell what he's going through is an invasion of privacy, and I get that. But unfortunately, just because you think something's happening that's not proper doesn't mean that anybody's doing something illegal.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I feel for Mark. I feel like I would be right there beside him, getting petitions with him to make sure that everybody feels comfortable, because to see a stranger on your property is not a fun thing. It is actually quite scary. And I mean, if they're there inspecting and just doing their job, the problem that I had with this situation is that when Mark asked the guy about him being there, he didn't want to answer him.
Well, but this is the thing, right? Is they don't want to tell anyone exactly when the inspection is, because then someone would clean up all of the issues and then the issues would exist, right? So what they want to do is they want to kind of surprise inspect, right? Just like anything would, because then they're going to see the reality of the situation. And that's honestly for the benefit of everybody in the community, right? We all remember those days where like you drive by your neighbor's yard and it'd be like 10 feet high, the lawn, right? So the whole point of this is to make sure that everybody lives in a community that is as beautiful and aesthetic as it can be.
I agree. And the funny thing is, just totally random, but when he said weed on the call, I was like, weed? What are they looking for marijuana for? And then you're like, weeds. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Well, maybe there's something like that going on too, and he's nervous about the inspection, right?